one-on-one conversation. 30 minutes of pure entertainment with musicians, writers, and actors to motivators, chefs, and even rappers to up-and-comings with the it factor. It's the Jazzie KWard coming at ya. Have fun, some smiles, a few laughs. Tune in, chime in, sit back, relax. Have fun, some smiles, a few laughs.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. It's Monday, and it's another great edition of Jazzie After Dark Artist Talk. And I'm so glad that you are welcoming me into your homes, wherever you are across the world. Thank you so much for tuning into the show tonight. And for those who go back and watch the replay, I thank you as well. Don't forget to share the video. What you can do right now for me, right, is get your other tablet, other cell phone, right, and jump over to my YouTube channel, which is KWard Radio right now. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see all these exciting shows. And you know what? Go back and watch the old ones too. Great conversations with some amazing guests and artists, right? As well as KWardRadio.com. Subscribe, where you can get all the news and all the jazz that your soul can use. That's right. So my special guest tonight, I'm so excited. It's a privilege. It's an honor to talk to Mike Levine. He's a pianist and composer, and he has that it factor. And if you don't know him, as I always say, shame on you. So let's take a look at Mike Levine and doing what he does best, and that's music right here on Artist Talk.
Gazing up above, you in my arms.
Oh, wow. Wow. That music, the music, it soothes your soul. I tell you, all I need is a glass of wine and some Mike Levine to go with that. And I promise you, I feel like I'm on an oasis, right? So what I need everyone to do right now is go ahead and share the video, invite your friends, and sit down and enjoy this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, pianist, composer. When I tell you, I think he's one of the coolest guys that I really know. He's smooth, he's laid back, and I'm just excited to have the conversation. So let's welcome Mike Levine in the room.
Hey, thank you so much.
Hey, my friend Mike, happy Monday to you.
Same to you. Looking forward to it.
Hey, the owner B hello to you and good evening to you. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know, and Catherine, thank you so much.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Mike, I've been anticipating this conversation all day today. As I was sitting and I was, listening to, if everybody can see that, to this project right here.
There you
if
go.
you don't if you don't have this CD, shame on you. This is, Mike's latest release, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. Just chilling, and you know what I love about that cover, Mike? Is you in the wine, because I could use a little bit of that right now.
I hear you. By the way, that the photograph, all the photographs on all my CDs, I keep it in house, and my wife takes all the pictures.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, she does an amazing job. Is that her profession or just something she does on the side?
I would say it's her passion, that she's always wanted to do it, and uh, it just worked out. Once I started doing solo CDs, who am I going to call, right?
That's right. It's nothing like support and, like you said, keeping it in house and having your wife right there, because of course she's gonna have your back.
For sure, for sure.
But for sure. You know what? So, to start the conversation, and anyone that's watching tonight, if you have any questions or comments, place them there, and we will do our best to answer those. How you doing, Al? Say woo woo, Mike.
Yeah, that's my buddy Al from New Hampshire. Actually, he's on that CD on one cut.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Al,
we knew we were friends. Well, we still are friends, but we used to play together. I'm talking like, I don't know, in the '70s, and
oh,
then we friended each other. Later on, and I've been up there a few times playing. He put together a great group. All the guys learned all my stuff. I walked in and played. It was like, okay, yeah, nice.
that's great. So which cut is Al on the project?
He's on one that's called Nice and Easy.
Oh, right. Okay. Nice and easy, which is number 12 on the CD.
Yeah. Well,
Very,
I've got,
very.
I've gotten good compliments pretty much on all of them. So, the placement doesn't matter that much.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, the entire project is it's just great music, and we're going to talk a little bit about that a little later. But just for all of those, Mike, you've been in this music game for quite some time. But for all of those who are new to you and introducing new people to your music, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, my formative years were in, most of my life actually was in Miami, Florida. First year of college, I got, I started playing trumpet. Let me back up. I started playing trumpet when I was in sixth grade, and then played, the usual through junior high and then senior high. I got to be first chair by a stroke of luck, but I was pretty good.
Okay.
But later on, when I was about 17, I discovered the piano, kind of late for a pianist. Nonetheless, I started taking lessons with Vince Maggio, who was a product of Oscar Peterson's school. And a long story short, I went to college, and did 1 year at Vanderbilt, realized that wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And I got back in touch with Vince, who was teaching at the University of Miami, and I got accepted. And I was there in like one of the best periods of time at the UM with guys like Pat Metheny was there, Hiram Bullock, Will Lee, Mark Egan. I mean, it was like the who's who, Danny Gottlieb, all a great time. And so I did not graduate. I got what I thought I needed to get. I studied with Vince there. Ended up in the Bahamas for about 6 months in a calypso band and in a great R&B band. And then gigging in town locally, anything and everything. Had a group with a fellow saxophonist, Billy Ross, and it was called the Ross and Levine Band. We put out we put out vinyls,
Okay.
and then I said, well, I've always been writing. I've been writing since, gosh, since I'm 18, 19 years old, So I said, why don't I do something for me? And I did, and I did 4 CDs, and we're to the 4th one. Just Chillin' is the 4th. And
Right.
as I mentioned to you earlier when we were talking, your station played a lot of me on my first CD, which was From the Heart. It featured Hiram Bullock as a guest artist, and that kind of brings me to today. Most of the tunes on this CD are originals, except I did a cover of Eleanor Rigby, and I write, I play, I arrange, I produce, I mix.
Right.
In this business, unless you're really lucky, you got to do a little bit of everything.
That's right. So so we have a question, Mike. How do you decide which musicians you want to play on which song? That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. Most of the guys that play on my CD are friends,
Mhm.
so I know kind of what their strong points are. I've used on all the CDs my close friend Lee Levin. Lee is the great drummer. He just fantastic studio drummer. That's what he wanted to do, and that's what he did. And then, depending on the tune, I'll pick. If it's more of an R&B thing, I might pick one bass player over another. And of course, then I have to decide. Saxophone wise, I mean, I have Andy Snitzer on a couple of tracks, and Ed Kaye, who maybe is not quite as known as Andy, but he's a heavyweight. And then, of course, guitarist Steve Oliver on a couple of tracks. And I have to say, the tracks that Steve played on were perfect for him. I mean, he was the guy. So I think about the music, the sentiment, feeling, so forth.
Okay. So we have from Bonnie. Les is that Dumerle, and I love you and your.
Yes, great drummer, and his wife is the singer. Excellent. And we go every October for, I don't know, I lose track, 11 years. They have a small jazz festival in Amelia Island, just north of Jacksonville, and I'm in the usually in the trio. And
so we have another comment from the owner B. She said, "Gliding is a favorite of mine off the Just Chilling CD. Do you have a favorite off the CD, or do you just equally love all of your songs?"
Wow. I probably have about 4 or 5 that are kind of in the running. I went with Gliding as a single because it's got the little Latinish thing, and a little funk, and kind of a romantic melody. I find that I write different kind of tunes. I mean, I write straight ahead stuff.
Right.
I'll write a waltz. I'll write a bossa nova.
Mhm.
But my projects are usually more kind of smoothish. And I find that the more up tempo tunes are generally more just fun tunes, and the ballads are more coming from places like love and hope. And as I tell my friends, if you want something kind of out there and kind of angular melodies and stuff, I'm not the right guy for that. I know what I do.
You know what you do. And when you say that, Mike, that's why you have the it factor. That's why that's why Mike Levine has that it factor, because I can go back and think about, was it 1981? Was it the Ross, the Levine bond? Was that
Ross and Levine band? Sure.
Yeah, the Ross Levine band. That summer something, was that?
That's correct. Yeah, that was the name of it, and it featured Pat Metheny. He was gracious enough to. I'll never forget what he said, though. He was very gracious, and then he did it, and then he says, "Well, if it sells over 100,000 copies, remember me." Basically, it was like, man, I mean, if it's just as a jazz album, But anyhow,
That's right. That's right. Well, if you just tuned it into the show, everyone, I'm your host, Jazzie KWard. My special guest tonight is the one and only. He's a pianist. He's a composer. His name is Mike Levine, and we're having an up close and personal conversation. Also, about his music, his legacy. His latest CD, of course, is Just Chillin', and that's exactly what we're doing tonight. Is just chilling and having a little bit of conversation. And we're going to have a little bit more of that. We're just going to take a short break, and we're going to come back with Mike Levine, and he's going to play a little something for us. I'm so excited. So continue to keep it locked right here. And my friend Costella, welcome so much. And we'll be right back.
Hello everyone, my name is Bridget Williams. I'm the owner of Necessities 101. Please follow the links below that will take you to my website and my business pages. I am trying to collaborate with stylists, bloggers, influencers, musicians, and everyone in between. I specialize in statement jewelry, so if you're planning a wedding or a photo shoot, I am your go-to person. Please check my page out. In doing so, you will be supporting a small business, and I would like to thank you in advance for that. Have a great day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. Artist Talking. So my special guest is the one and only Mike Levine, who we're having this conversation. As I'm looking, I can only I'm thinking about that beautiful instrument behind you, which is one of my favorite.
There you go.
That instrument that you truly do your magic on. That's right.
It's a beautiful instrument for sure.
It's a beautiful, and I never would imagine that, the way you play that. When you told me your first love was what, the trumpet?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. So so I'm super excited to talk about the project and the CD. If you don't have it, everyone, make sure you go get this. Mike Levine's project, Just Chillin'. All you need is some good company, some conversation, whatever you drink, and put this CD on, and I promise you, your night will go just as smooth as ever. Because remember, if you create the company, I promise you, Mike Levine will create the mood for you. I can promise you that. So, Mike, so tell us the name of the song, and tell us maybe a little story about this song.
Okay, the one I'm going to play now would be Gliding. And like I said, I had about 4 or 5 tunes that I was thinking, in terms of radio, putting out a single, which one do I like, and which one do I think? I mean, you have to have a little bit of a business hat on there as well. You're not going to pick the one that's the most out there, but having said that, I remember writing this tune, and I really felt good about it. I mean, when I write, I try to capture the mood and keep the mood. And I kind of knew it wrote itself pretty quickly, and I knew I had a tune. I mean, I'm a picky guy, and I knew I had a good tune that I liked and I thought people would like. And I played it one night right before all the gigs shut down in a reading with 3 other guys in a club, and it was like okay, but then everything changed, and it gave me the opportunity to put it together and record it.
Okay. Well, I am super excited. I'm anticipating. I love the song. Ladies and gentlemen, pianist and composer Mike Levine, and his latest release off of his I'm gonna say Grammy. This CD should have a Grammy. It really it should, and it's called Glide, and we're gonna hear it right here on an artist. So go ahead and share the video. Wow. You know, wow, that was just magnificent. I don't know if I guess I'm saying that right. but
Thank you
but
so
that
much.
is just perfection. You know, the comments, people were saying, I see why it's titled Gliding. Now, people say the composition, the mood, the feel, the music. But when I sit here and listen at your music has so much, as I always tell people, it has a lot of flavor. It has so many spices. And that's what I love, Mike, about your music. Because again, you hear the blues, you hear the smooth jazz. I hear a little Cuban. I don't know, am I right? I just hear.
Yeah, I'm not Cuban. I'm what you call a gringo. I'm a gringo, but my wife is Puerto Rican, and they're living in Miami, growing up in Miami. I mean, come on, the influence is there, and yes, you're hearing like some definitely Spanish influence there. You're right on the money. Hey, I like this comment here that just showed up.
Well, Mike, have you played at the Sea Breeze before?
No, I haven't.
Now, shame on the Sea Breeze for not having Mike Levine at the Sea Breeze.
Man, I'm going to hire you.
Cheers. Oh, did you take my money CD purchase? Thank
All
you so much.
right.
Okay. That's
Ka-ching.
so everyone, cha-ching, right. Hey, Catherine. So everyone on this, live tonight, make sure to support Mike and his music. Go to MikeLevineMusic.com website. You can get all of his CDs. He has some great merchandise on the CD. But right now, I have a CD right here, an autographed signed CD. So the first person that goes over to KWard Radio on Facebook, go to that page. Make sure you like the page. Okay, make sure you like the page. Also, and tell me a title, a song off of the CD, and tell me an artist who he collaborated with on this project. If you can remember that, and you can win this autographed signed CD right there. that Michael signed. Okay, so I hope everyone could remember that. Okay, so so back to the Sea Breeze, and I know you said you hadn't had the opportunity to perform.
No, I haven't. It would be nice, certainly, and now that I'm living in the area. I'm actually kind of a neighbor of that area, so I'm ready.
Make some phone calls and say, Sea Breeze,
Yeah, exactly.
So, Mike, when I think about this project, and I know it came out February of 21, which last year, with the pandemic, which, a blessing, a curse to all of us. So, just during that time, like, how were you and your family even navigating through all of that?
Well, we have been laying pretty low. We were laying low. It gave me, like, what do they say? When one door opens, another one. No, when one door closes, another one opens.
That's right.
It gave me the opportunity to finish the CD. I ended up mixing 11 out of the 13 tracks. I hadn't planned on that, but for financial reasons, and I had the time. It was not. And then I worked on a very complicated project, a 14-piece group that I played in, I edited, and I mixed. So between those two things, it kept me busy.
It kept you busy. Yeah. So I was going to ask you, Mike, who inspired you to do music? Your family, was your mom, dad, anybody in your family musically inclined?
Yeah. I'm not going to say it was like a super musical family, but probably more than most in the sense that my mom she got a full scholarship to University of Miami for opera.
Oh, wow.
Only to realize that she had very bad stage fright.
Okay.
So she couldn't continue, but whatchamacallit. So, but as a kid growing up, they listened to all the big bands, Sinatra, and then of course my mom would turn on the record player and blast these operas and sing. And until she just passed in December, and but she sang me Happy Birthday perfectly in tune. I mean, it was like, to me, you know a singer when a singer can sing by him or herself.
Oh yeah.
No music, and they're nailing it. And my mom had a very good ear. My dad also had a good ear. I loved classical music. So, I mean, it was somewhat of a musical situation for sure.
Right. Okay. So, like so outside of music, if you were not doing music, what else would you be doing?
Good question. I often thought I would either be something maybe with like a psychologist, something along that line, or maybe a teacher helping kids that have maybe not super developmental problems, but not something way drastic, but something where I could maybe think a little bit out of the box and come up ways to help kids learn.
Learn. Okay. That's great. That's great. I always tell artists too, I don't really like to compare artists, but as when I listen to Mike Levine's music, I was like, wow, just similarities. I think about like Burt Bacharach, and I think about Michael Franks. You ever been?
Yeah, well, Michael Franks was more in, yes, I could see that. I mean, some of my influences, I remember we were talking earlier that a lot of people would never know, except some of my friends that I play with down here, are not necessarily household names. Some of them are, but are people like Red Garland, Wynton Kelly, of course, Oscar Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Evans, Herbie Hancock, a little bit of Chick Corea. Those are the, but I've always, even when I was listening to those more straight ahead jazz artists, I was writing more in a little bit different vein. So I'm not sure why that happened, but it happened.
It happened. So are there any other artists that you would like to work with, maybe in the future? Anybody you can name? Man, that you haven't had the chance to work with yet?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me think about that, because I mean, I would like to work again with Steve Oliver and Andy Snitzer, of course, and Ed Kaye. Wow. Maybe if I had the right tracks, maybe a guy like Marcus Miller on bass.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Nathan East.
There's some great people. Some great artists.
Yeah.
So I also noticed, like, on your latest release, like Randy Burson and Lindsey Blair, and I'm a big fan of Nestor Torres. I noticed he's also on.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, the tune that Nestor plays on is entitled Miami, so you know where it's going to go. And,
right.
It teases you because it's, for a while, it's just straight up R&B, and then towards the end it kicks into this this Latin groove, and as we were talking before, or somebody had asked, that was the perfect person for that tune. I knew I wanted flute, and there was going to be nobody but Nestor, and he, knock on wood, I've got a lot of friends that they've helped me out.
They helped you out. So let me ask you, so I'm sure you listen to your own music, but like, if I came to your house right about now, or even we were in the car riding, like, who are some people that you're like currently listening to now? Like, who do you like?
Okay. Now I'm going to forget his name. Oh my goodness. The saxophonist.
Okay.
Oh, gee whiz. Oh boy. The name is escaping me right now. One of the top dogs on, alto, and it swings hard in the smooth jazz. I think plays bass too. And I can't remember his name right now.
That's okay.
But we listen to him. If I listen to some straight ahead jazz, I always loved everything that Cannonball Adderley did.
Oh yeah.
Um, let's see, who else?
I know
I like
sometimes
Brian Culbertson. But yeah, somebody said Boney James. Yeah, sure. No, but Boney James wasn't who I was thinking of. Um, man, ah, it's got,
but you know, there's so many amazing artists out here now, and I'm sure, Mike, when you think about, you know, maybe when you started music, how do you feel about the music industry today versus, you know, you have people that's been in this game 20 and 30 years, and then someone comes out, not saying they're not talented, but they've been out a few years and they win a Grammy, and someone, you know, an other artist who has been doing this for so long. Do you have any comments about that, Brett?
you know, that's a interesting thing, and we even touched on it. You and I, you know, being
Mhm.
thankful for what we have. It's
Right.
I have to keep that in check. I mean, there's a little bit of you know, I try not to be envious.
Right.
You know what I mean? It sometimes I have to say to myself, I do what I do. You know,
Right.
I do what I do, and I try to be comfortable within myself that um, I I have something to say.
Right.
Other people may have more to say than I have, may have more of this than I have, but
Right.
but I have something to say. So I gotta, you know, when I find myself falling into that trap, I need to, you know, pull away. And by the way, my wife chimed in with Gerald Albright.
Yeah. Our international recording artist Brendan Rothwell Albright, sax and bass.
Yes, yeah, he got it too. My wife chimed in a little bit before. Yes, love
Okay.
the way he plays, man. I mean, the arrangements,
Yeah.
the tunes, the time, the feel. I mean, you know, he's you know, got the whole thing.
Huh?
Another one, Kurt Whalum.
Oh, yeah.
It's it's funny. And a few of the piano players, but like I said, Brian Culbertson. I used to really like Joe Sample. I mean, I still do.
Oh, yeah. I love Joseph.
You know, because Joe he was smooth, but he wasn't, and kind of that you know, not that I model myself after that, but I try to bring in a different musical vocabulary than the usual thing.
Yeah. And even someone, you know, I think about even you and George Duke. I could have.
Oh, George, I'll tell you a quick story.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm dating myself. I'm going back to, I don't know, this has got to be 1973,
Okay.
I think. Go to a concert. It was Frank Zappa. And I went to the concert. All I remember was me and Pat Metheny, and there was somebody else who I don't remember. And, you know, Zappa comes on, you know, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then it's time for George Duke to take a solo. And then we all look at each other and like, yes, okay. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Back then, and then his solo career, and then his time he played also with Cannonball Adderley. And,
Yeah.
you know,
I remember, Mike, when I first met George Duke. Maybe 90. It might have been around maybe 97. I mean, this man was playing this. I mean, it was like magic.
yeah, no. He's,
This man was just
yeah,
wow.
serious player. He had the chops. He had everything, you know. Really like him. Of course, Herbie Hancock as well. You know.
Yeah, I know. You know, so for everyone, Mike, and let everyone know how they can support you and your new project out. Can you tell them, and where can they purchase the music?
Well, it's the you know, the usual internet venues, of course. Of course, people can go to my website, and as he says it, there it is, like magic, and purchase it, and I ship it out. It's included. International, I have to, you know, I have to renegotiate that because the international shipping is not cheap. But you know, the U.S. no problem, and yeah, so go on the site. All my CDs are there. Yeah, and
Yeah.
wow.
I might
Just
put you on the
forgive-
spot a little. I might put you on the spot a little bit, Mike. But
All right,
can
put
they,
me.
can they if they go on the website or hit you up on Facebook, can they order the CD from you and get it signed?
Absolutely. All they have to do is, like everything goes through PayPal, and
Hmm.
they just a few people have asked for that. Please sign the CD. I open it up and sign it, of course, for sure. And I had a really nice compliment. You know, I don't often get this one. A guy bought the CD. Um, his name is Michael, and I forget his last name. If he's listening, sorry. Anyhow, he bought the CD, and then he emailed me back right away. He said, "Mike, usually I buy a CD, and there's three, four, tops, five tracks."
Hmm.
He says, "Every track I liked, every track."
Yeah.
And then he went back on my website and he bought the other three CDs of mine that preceded that. So it was like, it was a nice uh, compliment.
That's right. And I tell everyone, if you don't have the CD, and I hope it's still available, you need to go back and get your CD from 2007 from the heart. I mean, I like all your CDs, but you need to go get that CD from the heart, which was
Thank
out in
you.
2007. And
Yeah,
so that CD, it's still available.
yes, I have like maybe two left. My wife has been on me I'm going to get more made. And
Okay.
yeah, and that one has Hiram on it and some great guitar work. And it was a special CD. It started the whole thing.
It started the whole thing. So anyone watching this live, for those who go back and watch the replay, right now, Michael Levine has 2 copies of that project left. I need 2 people on this live to go back and get that. Go get that CD from the heart. I promise you, it will bless you. Nicole says, best to you and your family. Michael, love the music. Levine, keep up the great work with the photos.
Yeah, so she'll appreciate that. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, and don't forget the new project is out, just chilling. I like it from the beginning, and I like the comment the person made. From the beginning of the CD to the end, it's great. I just always feel like the songs are placed in the order that, to me, it tells a story. When I listen to your CD and it tells a story. And that Eleanor Rigby, this is like my second time really hearing. I knew another artist that did that song, and
Hmm.
Mark Thompson Jr., who's out of Detroit, and he plays piano and keyboard like yourself, Mike. He's a pianist,
Hmm.
and wow, that song, wow, it's very touching, very very touching
Yeah,
CD.
it,
And
it came out kind of definitely different, that's for sure, which is
right,
what
right,
I was looking for.
that's right, and that's what I like about Michael Levine is in a lane all by himself. He's in a class all by himself. And that's what I like about your music, because you have that it factor. And I tell people, if you don't know Mike Levine, shame on you.
You.
Shame on you. And I just want to tell you, thank you so much. I have thoroughly enjoyed this, conversation about you and your music. You're welcome to the show anytime. Please come back on the show. And I know the CD is just out. Any projects or anything you're working on that's coming up maybe later in the year that you want to share with us?
Well, just looking to get some gigs, hopefully, soon,
Right.
um, and trying to promote as best as I can
Mhm.
the CD. And I have help. But Kat Levine was on earlier, and she is helping me do some of the things that I'm not that good at. I was like, I can run this pretty expansive Pro Tools setup, but yet when it comes to like, okay, now how do I do this on this? And it's like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
We're
So
all learning, right? We're learning every day. This technology thing, you
I'm
know,
telling
it,
you,
it could be challenging sometimes. And I know, being in this business for a long time, Mike, I'm sure it's not an easy process some days. So
no,
what's the best advice that you've been given that you can share with us?
sure. Well, I mean, obviously, you, as a musician, you want to uh, practice to perfect to whatever your top level is as a performer. But it's kind of like an athlete. How many how many great athletes actually make it on the field?
Mhm.
Okay. Not saying, and I mean, they're probably all like amazing, but that's the reality of things. So after you've perfected your craft as best as you can, in this day and age, my personal advice is, learn how to record, learn how to push your writing skills, push your arranging skills, your production skills, your mixing skills. Nowadays, it's like somebody sends you a track on the internet. I've got to know how to mic this beast behind me here to get a really good sound. That takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of money, but it takes a little bit of time and fooling around. Let me try the mics here, So I think unless you're lucky, and there are a lot of lucky musicians, but if you're not, you've got to be able to do all that and also play varying styles. If you get called for a salsa gig, maybe be able to handle it. If it's R&B, if it's straight ahead, swing, so that's kind of what I've done. And between everything, I'm able to, make a living and keep doing these projects.
That's right. Well, please keep doing it, my friend. And like I always tell people, you have to do the work. You have to do the work. And Mike, thank you so much. And again, come back on the show anytime.
Yeah.
And about new projects, new music. And I know you're going to leave us. You're going to play us on out of the show.
I will. I got to make one thing over here. And
That's
I
fine.
did that. And I'm going to hit this button, and I guess I'm going to say over and out.
Okay.
And I'll lead
All
you
right.
out.
Okay. I want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. My special guest was pianist and composer Mike Levine. Don't forget to go over to his website, MikeLevineMusic.com, and purchase his latest release, Just Chillin'. I'm Jazzie KWard. Thank you to Chef D, a moderator. He has that it factor. He's running everything, y'all, in the background. Also, thank to Mike Murray and Diona B for my music as well. Thank you. Have a great night. We'll catch you next time on the show. Remember, take care of yourself and be kind to others. Good night.
one-on-one conversation. 30 minutes of pure entertainment with musicians, writers, and actors to motivators, chefs, and even rappers to up-and-comings with the it factor. It's the Jazzie KWard coming at ya.